Ladies, my name is Chaz and welcome to the What If Spider-Man Became King of Carnage. And so in this What If, it takes place in a alternate timeline where or should I say the same thing as when Carnage exploded and turned everybody into him, turned Mary Jane into the Queen. But the Queen of Carnage, of course, Spider-Man does his thing of trying to save her from it. But he was trying to go get her, but one of the goo fused with him. And no, it's not like this, but more like this. So he ends up transforming into that. As he became the king of Carnage, similar to the Queen of Carnage, as both of them show up in the same. So her and him are king and queen of Carnage. So yeah, it was kind of weird. Morbius is trying to subdue both of them, take control of them. As yeah, it doesn't end well for him. So other than that, the Agent Venom and rest of the remains Avengers tried to get Spider-Man and her out of the symbiote's control. So yeah, then all stuff gone down real fast. As yeah, how fast you are talking about? He is faster than, or it goes down real fast. The Avengers and Spider-Man or Spider Warriors and his old team was trying to use their powers as yeah, Captain America got his shield stolen And then so they had to, but lucky for Spidey, had a concentration. So yeah, he basically, or they actually took like her and made her back into a human, but with those powers again. But Spidey, well, or Morbius says, well, she was a disappointment, but you, the king of carnage, will be my greatest weapon in the entire world. So, yeah. They go off, they leave as Agent Venom and like all of them, all the heroes are trying to get him back to so yeah. Then like all the crud starts and Morbius is like, good thing that now King of Carnage, destroy them. As he tells like the clones of these is to go destroy them. And yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. How crazy are you talking about? They're crazy. So yeah. Heck, Hulk went and battled against the clone of himself that was Carnage. So yeah, they end up, or he ends up like, or his spider self is telling him or he webbed his device thing that was on his arm away. So he took it and crushed it. As he says, Spider King doesn't need to be controlled. As Spider-Man says, the King of Carnage, how about we turn Morbius into a, into a salad? Sure. As his hand, this part of his blade, or his arm, or his, transforms into a blade. So, yeah. He starts chopping up him. Or tried to, but he's like more focused on control like, the king of symbiote, or king of carnage, sorry, was, like, he was totally different from other carnage things. So he listens to his host. So he says, huh. Spider-Man says to him that, let's put him behind bars. Okay. As the other symbiotes, like those little bug looking things, they went and took care of like flew him all the way to the prison. As he basically calms down a lot. Like, he went from being this into back to his usual self. So yeah, once in a while in this universe he uses it like on important missions. So yeah, but he still hangs around with it. So yeah, and now, well, we move on to I'm gonna do a remake of it so that it makes more sense. So this is the reboot part or 1.0. So yeah, some of you are probably wondering why I chose the killer lizard, her name, because not very many people do like adding themselves to it. So this is my custom character. So yeah, so let's begin with, what if Killer Lizard was in My Hero Academia? And I'm just gonna, or I'm using like the Marvels and DC characters for it. And so let's begin with instead of having, or like him and her having like 3 kids, there was 4 kids. I think there's 4 kids. So yeah, so my character was the same, like was born similar to him way before the others. He's like an older brother to them. So then followed by Frog Girl, or Fribbit. And then those 2. So yeah, they were like, he was running around, but he got captured one day by hold on, give me a moment, by the doctor, because he got diagnosed with a mutant like quirk. And so they took him, or he took him. He has he still had his parents' quirks, but the doctor says, let's add some new powers to him. How about reptilian? So, yeah. He gets transformed into this. His skin got harder. He turns into that. And, yeah. But he still kept his memories of his self. So, yeah. And his mutation quirk actually fused with his DNA. So, it was permanently bonded with him. So, yeah. He became a killer lizard. So, yeah. Then he escapes, and he wasn't a failed experiment. He successfully did it. So now he became so he joins UA under name of Killer Croc. Or no, Killer Lizard. Because Aqua is actually, he is still called that in his original name. Aqua, aka Killer Lizard. So he ends up getting into class 1A with his sister. But his sister forgot about him. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. I had my nose thing. So, yeah. Then or should I say, her and her family were trying to look for him. But she literally walked up to him and asked what his name. My name is Killer Lizard. I like to be called that because I'm a reptile. As Baka goes like, huh. Or actually, she's like, huh. Nice to meet you. Huh. Well, can I ask you something, Rabbit? How are you doing, boy? Good, but I'm still trying to look for my brother that he got taken. Huh, well, I may know a thing or two. Don't worry. As he's embarrassed to tell her that he is her brother. So, I'm skipping the ball throw and heroes versus villains. Because in the original one that I mean, was he threw like and he was paired up with. So I'm skipping it this time. So now the USJ. He, or actually, because he was living in the sewer, he knew where everything was at. He actually goes down into a sewer, runs all the way, full speed, to USJ. Like, he missed a bus before, but he did more reptilian. Like, he actually ran so fast, not even a bus could even see him. And they're like, well, our classmates got left behind. As they jump out and they walk to, and as he like hits it all the way, he came right out of a sewer. Like, really? Thanks a lot, you jerks. As everybody sees him, like, her girl's like, wow, you really get your name from being in the sewer things. Ha ha ha. Real funny. But still. So, and before that happened, or before, he actually told her that what really who grabbed her brother, a doctor, but so yeah. And she doesn't know why, but she can tell that he's someone that he or she cares about. Not out of love or like hate, but someone. So when they walked in, they get ambushed. And yeah, they ended up, or actually Killer Croc went in to the boat, or the water thing, as he says, as he reveals his true crocodile name, or his true, like, he took off his, like, because he was wearing this, so he took off his, like, shirt and revealed how muscular he is. As, yeah, everybody's, or he climbs out of a water and he told Frebbit that he'll be back. As he basically punched everybody, like every villain, right out of the water, hitting everything. So yeah, he jumps out as, yeah, he turns into that as he starts charging at the Nomu, punching it, ripping limbs off, grabbing its brain and ripping it out. As everyone sees, it's a man with a quirk that's ripping as he grabs Mr. Aizawa and ran him all the way to the front door. He ran back to grab Frog Girl and arrest. As, yeah, he... And some of you might be asking yourself, or might be like commenting of, well, the frogs and crocodiles and other lizards are different from each other's. I understand, but this is the what if anything could happen in this what if. Heck, I could just put in like flame brains in it, but I'm not. So yeah, he ends up transforming back into his original form. He still had a coat thing, or his shirt thing on, and yeah, he basically went all the way. So yeah, he's basically powerful. So I'm skipping the sports festival and the camp park, and just the All for One versus All Might. As he goes berserk, because he saw, or he heard that his sister got grabbed, and instead of Bakugo. So yeah, the Frog Girl is his sister. So he becomes like, he ran, like, he goes all the way fast as lightning, and yeah, so he ran so fast because of his like snake form, or like his, so he ends up transforming into a dragon and it flew all the way or actually halfway, and then he transforms back to that as he ran really fast, as he's mad. He straight up punched All for One so hard his entire mask broke, except for those pipes. So he says, or he says this. All for One, I know that it was you behind it. as he was mad. As All for One says, guess the almighty Aqua has shown his presence. As she turns and looks at him, and then it dawns on her of Killer Croc's real, or no, Killer Lizard herd realizes, or his full name. As he says, as, yes, sister, I have returned. As he, like, straight up brutally murdering All for One. Ripping the, like, he wasn't letting up. He was smashing, bashing, ashing, all that stuff. So, yeah. They're like, what the heck? As he was mad. He basically said, it was you and your dumb scientist turned me into it. All for One. And that's what the Killer Lizard or Aqua is saying. As he was mad after he ate the quirk. He didn't gain it, but it's like someone said or singing in the background. He ate my heart. He ate my heart. Kind mortality thing. So yeah, he basically became a true reptile. So he gets up, walks over to All Might to check on him to make sure that he doesn't, like, bust apart. So he lifts him up. As Himiko Toga was there, but she ends up, or she got teleported away before. And when she saw the or like what he did, she wanted him. So yeah, as he grabs, like, or he puts All Might on the, like, doctor things, as yeah, he basically went over to check on his sister, as he says, I didn't mention that I'm very proud of you for trying to find me. As Front Girl, like, leaps and, like, gives him a hug. As she's crying, she says, hang that shirt back in her arms. Yeah. As he says, yeah, But that doctor was a jerk to me anyway. So, and they got back. At first, they didn't realize that who is this man, as until Frog Girl tells them that this is Aqua. Remember? As they looked at him and looked at the baby picture thing, as he says, "Hey, Mom," and yeah. So they all ran up and like gave him a hug. So yeah. Yeah, so as he tells them that that when the scientist took me, or this is what he's saying, when the scientist took me and they transformed me into this this thing, they ended up permanently sorry about that, I had to cough. So let's continue. And yeah, so he's explaining that what that doctor did. Permanently bound, or his quirk was permanently fused with his entire genetics. So, and adding like reptiles. That's how I got my nickname of Killer Reptile. As his or their mother says, huh, well, it's a lot better than being like something else. As they have their like get-togethers and visits and yeah, all that stuff. So, and I'm skipping over the overhaul fight. So, how much time do I have? I have enough time, okay. So, I'm doing like 3 what ifs in one. So, I'm doing 1 for or like 2 for Marvels, 1 for that. So, now, what if Spider-Man became Electro? So, he gained the powers of electricity through because I forget his name. Why am I forgetting his name? So, like, Electro, this guy wanted to, because his body can't handle it, so he passed down his power to someone that he is choosing. So he chose Spider-Man. In this what if, Spider-Man and Electro, they were best friends. So, yeah. He ended up passing the power down, and yeah, all that stuff. And he trains hard, more than anyone. So, yeah. So, now, was it's really slow, so he basically does like electric charge for everything. So, yeah. And my original plan was to just do the what if Spiderman and became the king of carnage. But I threw in those two. So, yeah, he ends up doing all that stuff, and yeah. Sorry if you're hearing the air thing in the background. So, let's continue. And he got so much experimented on. So, yeah. So, bye-bye. Please leave a like, share, subscribe.